Hi everyone, so as you might know, we've had the Outwell sides, front, back, whatever you want to call them, for our awning for a while, and today we're going to test an alternative because we know how difficult the Outwell ones are to find. So first things first then, we're going to be talking about our awning sides, so we need to get the awning out. And it's a little bit windy today, and you know us, probably quite risk averse. Let's strap it down. And if you haven't seen that video before, click up there and you'll be able to see it. But we're just gonna crack on with that, and then we'll be back with you, because then we can start talking about these alternatives. Right, okay, so we've got all of that sorted now. Job's a good one. So just as a quick reminder, the Outwell sides that we're talking about, we did do a video on them. Check it out up there. I'll just grab them out the boot. Now we keep these in here in the tailgate. And I'm just, on one side that's our windscreen cover, but on the other side, that's where we keep these Outwell awning sides. So in here we've got a pack, which is the...
One's Hillcrest and one's Fallcrest, isn't it?
Side panel set. So that's the ones for...
Fallcrest.
The front and back sides, the two sides, so there's two in that one.
Yeah.
And then this one, the Hillcrest, this is the one that comes out the front.
Side.
So...
Giveaway being this is called a set. There's two, whereas that one is singular.
It's just a tarp.
Just a tarp.
So, interestingly, the material that they give you for the bag for these is basically the same as the material for the actual tarps themselves. So
they're very lightweight.
So I think probably the easiest thing, before we get onto the Comfortz ones we're going to show you in a second, let's put a rear one on. Okay. Because then we can show you what this is like. So you can probably hear.
And you're getting instructions in the pack.
Yeah, you can probably hear it's a little bit rustly, and you can bet your life the one that I've picked out is going to be the front rather than the back, can't you?
They're quite thin, almost like a very thin raincoat.
Yeah.
Or quite a skinny tent, I suppose, that you probably wouldn't want to put up in a force 9 gale.
I did manage to get the rear one.
Hey!
So if you haven't seen these before, the way that these work is they have effectively a zipper pocket on the top, which you undo, and you zip it round the bar on your awning, and then you can peg it down and you can take it from there. So let's pop this Outwell one up first, then we're going to grab the Comfortz version of it so you can see what the difference is like. Okay. So let's crack on and put this up. So we realise you probably can't see very much at the minute, but if you just, so do you want to just start that? So when you're inside, you put it round the bar, hold it down, and then Sarah's just going to zip it across.
It's a really good chunky zip, this. Dead easy.
And then that's how you attach it to your awning. So it's blowing around in the breeze, as you can see. So all we need to do now is peg it out, and that's that side done.
So you can see on these Outwell ones, you get their kind of traditional guy line sort of idea here.
There's no
to peg them out with.
There's no eyelet or anything though, is there?
No,
to do anything else with,
it's sewn in.
You might
it's
like
reinforced with some sort of triangular stitching down at the bottom here.
But it's very
rustly.
And one thing that we did notice with this when we had it up before in the wind was actually it really can put some tension on this. You know, it can really push against the awning quite hard, and it rustles a lot. So if you've had a normal awning or anything like that, you know, a drive-away awning or anything like that, actually it's very, very similar in terms of material, so it makes quite a hefty noise. So we're going to just pop this out so you can see what it's like. I'm just going to use normal pegs. It does come with pegs,
I don't think that's the right bit to peg out with. Surely you peg out the guy.
I don't know. You tell me. We've always pegged it at the bottom before.
Have we? Okay.
Because you.
What's the point in the guy then?
Well, it's so that you can have it so that it doesn't go right to the floor if you don't want to. I mean, you need to decide how you want to use awning sides like this. But effectively, it can be as simple as that. So
that's your lot.
that's your lot, yeah. And obviously with these, you can tension it a little bit further.
Well, what I think these are actually designed for is for you to roll this up and then you peg this out. So essentially you just have a little bit of a sun.
Because there's toggles on the other side, isn't there?
Shade that comes down a little bit on the side. So you actually don't really have a whole panel there. If you can kind of picture what I'm getting at. So roll up to kind of here and then you'd use these guy lines to peg it down. Yeah. Like that.
Okay. Right.
So that's that one then.
Take these out then. And then to take it off, all you do is just unzip it at the back. If it doesn't trap itself.
There we go.
So just unzip it and then you can fold it up and pop it away basically.
There we go.
So we'll just get rid of that.
I'll leave him to fold that one up later.
And then this,
the new ones,
is what you really came for, because this is the alternative. So there are others around as well. I think Fuel do some, and you know, there's various different options. But these, we've been loaned these by Campervanbits just to have a go. They're always keen for our opinion on these things to see whether we can help improve the design or anything like that. So we thought we'd give them a go and do this video. So that one in there is the one which goes out that side. But as a fair kind of back-to-back comparison, let's have a go with one of the ones for this. Now I've got a feeling that these aren't handed. So they're not a front and a back.
I don't really see why there is a
I think it's because of how the Outwell ones roll up. I think it's because of where the guys are.
Oh, okay.
I think. However, let's have a look at what we get in here. So,
2 panels.
Bag of tent pegs. What else we got in here? Oh, nice Velcro bag of tent pegs.
Tell you what,
Some guy lines in there as well.
These feel heavier.
They feel heavier. Is that good?
Less rustly.
Oh yeah, it's
quite a different material actually, isn't it?
I don't know if you can pick that up on my microphone, but yeah, it's definitely less crinkly.
A bit thicker, definitely waterproof.
Yeah, it's still quite flexible.
Oh yeah, it's more, I don't know how I'd necessarily describe that. I've never seen a tent made of this kind of material.
No, it's definitely a waterproof though.
I think for those people who might have the Comfortz topper,
yeah, it might be similar
roof,
to that.
it could be the same as that.
Yeah.
The closest thing I can probably get to describing this is anybody who's ever played a musical instrument and had a waterproof cover for the case, for their hard case. It's a bit more similar to that.
Right. That's quite niche.
That's a bit niche, but you never know.
So we've got another really chunky YKK zip on here, so good quality zip, and
exactly the same idea basically, isn't it?
So,
there's a bit more stitching involved here though.
Yeah.
Because they've kind of given you a double thickness in places.
Yeah. So do you want to
big black chunky zip?
Zip this up then.
Yep.
So again, same principle as before. Sarah's just going to do the zip up on the back. Zip it all the way along. Oh, I think it's a bit wider actually.
Oh, we haven't put the awning out far enough, have we?
Well, it's pretty much as far as it can go. Yeah, I think it's actually slightly wider on the rail. Seems to cover it. It's right at the ends there, which is good.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's a bit more of a simple design. So there's no guys on it. Quite clean.
I quite like the fact it's grey actually.
but it does have these eyelets on. And that makes quite a big difference because you can peg it down with these, which I'll show you in a second. You don't peg it straight through the eyelet, you use a little bungee, which I'll show you. The other thing with these is you can buy something called king poles, and I don't know if you've ever seen king poles before. I don't know whether you've ever seen king poles before.
What's a king pole, Will?
What's a king pole? I haven't got one. That's bad planning, isn't it?
That's helpful.
But effectively a king pole is a normal tent peg pole. So like they come...
Is he doing the mashed potato?
It's a normal tent pole, but it's got a thinner kind of piece at the top which goes through the eye. So if you wanted to with this, you could have two and hold it out like that. So you can
you could create an extra
long awning if you wanted to on your rollout.
I get what you mean.
Same applies for the one which goes out there. So if you were trying to create more headspace and things instead of it being pegged to the floor, that's the way that you do it.
Okay.
So look up king poles. The way that you actually attach this to the floor. Oh, there we are. Sorry, I was looking for the little balls. So you get these things, and these are basically elastic with a ball on the end, and all you do.
And again, for anybody who's got the Comfortz roof.
Yeah, you'll know these.
You'll know exactly what these are.
So you pop them through the eyelet like that, so the ball sits at the back, and then you put your peg through there, so it actually has a bit of give, which I think is probably slightly kinder to the awning side than
fabric.
Than the other way of doing it, because actually, right, you're going to have to pull that over your way a little bit, I think.
It's as far
over.
No,
as in at the bottom, because these would come down, wouldn't they?
Okay.
So, just looking at whereabouts this would actually peg, it'd probably peg about there, I would think. So I'll just pop that in the floor, just so you can see. It's got a peg there. So again, just trying to figure out whereabouts to get the right
bit of tension on it.
Kind of tension. It's probably about there-ish. And then obviously if you want to, you can pop another one in the middle here. And you do get pegs and everything with it, so.
The ground's soft, isn't it?
It is, although there's a few stones, I have to say. So there you go. So that's just literally whacked down on the ground and just trying to hold it in the right place. But actually, in terms of wind, there's
it's less rustly, isn't it?
There's literally no wind there at all, or no rustling at all of that. Which I think, if you like kind of quietness, or you know, you're not overly keen on that kind of rustling noise from a tent kind of fabric.
It's getting almost,
really
it's getting
nice.
Closer to polycotton.
It's kind of almost in between, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost.
It's definitely not cotton, I don't think.
Yeah.
But it's closer to that than it is kind of plasticky tent fabric.
Yeah, it's definitely definitely closer. Can you still close the door and
I'll
open
go and have a go.
Because if you, I don't know whether you can see that on the video there. So there's a gap here where the door is going to come and open. I've got this so that it's not quite touching the van.
Just brushing it.
I think somebody might have designed it to do that. It does seem exactly the right size for that. So yeah, that's it's a good job. Where have you disappeared to?
I was just going to say, it makes it a little darker.
Right.
Because the Outwell ones are that kind of light greeny sort of colour with it, or just feeling a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
But I think I do prefer the lack of rustling. I find the rustling worrying, like it's going to tear.
Yeah.
I know it probably wouldn't tear.
I think the fact this is on bungees with that bit of give as well
just makes it a little bit
probably does help.
Less worrying. Yeah.
I wonder whether we should have a go with the front. I think it's called the front.
The singular bit.
The singular bit.
That doesn't zip around
a
thing. It actually uses
because I think it's useful to see whether it catches on any of the tension straps or any of that sort of stuff? Have they got the width just right for that?
Yeah.
Because the front one, we won't bother putting the front one of these up as well because,
it's basically exactly the same.
The other side. I tell you what, we need to have like a permanent marker and put side.
No, ugly.
Yeah, we won't bother putting the front one up because it's basically exactly the same. And obviously you can't open the driver's door if you've got it on. Kind of goes without saying. But I think this one on this side would be quite interesting.
Yeah.
So
let's give that a go then.
Let's have a bit of a tidy up and then we'll get on to having a look at that. Okay, right. So we're going to put the side, front.
Does it matter? This one, the one that comes this way, which could be front, side, back, it's depending on how you park your van, basically.
Also worthy noting that these are waterproof bags. So if you are putting this stuff down, and the Outwell ones are too, but if you're putting this stuff down and they were wet, you can put it away in the bag.
Which we may well end up doing.
It's
starting to rain.
Yeah. Just the same again. So you've got, I think, bungees in here. You've got the normal tent pegs and all of the other jazz. Full of bungees.
Balls.
So
bungee balls.
More of the.
That's what they are.
More of the bungee balls. And then again.
This one's quite different, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the other video on the Outwell stuff, you'll have seen the link before. Very similar. So this has got a sewn-in Cador strip on the top, which you slide into your rail. And if you look in your California rail, there's a nice fuel Omnistore.
I've heard it called Omnistore.
There is a slot in it where you slide this into.
There is.
Are we going to do it from that side?
We can do it from that side,
and we need to be this side of it, don't we? Obviously, this is sided, so it has a front and a inside, so just making sure I've got that the right way around. So I'm going for stitching on the inside, and then all I'm going to do is slide it in the rail. And I'm going to come out so you can still see me.
Well,
about there?
We're there.
We're there.
Windy.
So we were trying to figure out whether this was going to sit correctly with these awning straps. So can you get it through the legs?
Yeah, with the correct side of the legs.
So that would pin down to the floor like that then?
Just like that.
Just like that. Just like that.
Just in time for the rain.
So I think we're going to just take a short break, then we'll pin it down and then do a bit of videoing because it is starting to rain and our camera isn't waterproof. So give us 2 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, let's get started on getting this pegged out now that the rain has stopped. And we were just talking about the irony of testing out Comfortz Sun Shadz on an overcast day when there's a threat of rain. But you know.
But you could also comment, why are they waterproof if they're sunshades?
Yeah, that's true as well. The things we do for this channel. Right.
Crawling round on the grass.
That's it. So let's start off with that one there. So as one.
Do you have enough ball bungees?
I think so, yeah. So there's 4 eyelets on this, as you can probably see. And again, feed from the back to the front. And then you can just pop it down. Just like that. To be honest, just to show you, I'll just leave it at the 2, I think. But you can see there that if there was another couple at the front there, it would just make it slightly more taut.
Yeah. It does create a nice private kind of area, and I suppose if you're on a campsite where you've got another pitch next to you over there and you just want that little bit of privacy every time you come in and out of your side door, or not sitting inside eating your dinner with other people staring in, because quite a few of the bigger awnings, they have people facing you sideways on the pitch as well, so just to give a bit of privacy actually, even if you just want to put this one up. Yeah,
it seems to work really well, and I actually quite like the simplicity of this compared to the Outwell ones, because the question for us is, I mean, we bought and paid for the Outwell ones, we carry them in the van, we use them a bit, probably not a lot.
We tend to get a little bit terrified when the weather starts getting a bit windy, which is the exact reason why you've put them out. And that kind of, do you put the guy out or do you use the
they seem
kind
almost
of bit.
overly complicated for what you're trying to do.
This is really simple.
I quite like this for being really simple, and there's not really loads of different ways that you can peg or do anything with it. It kind of is what it is. Yeah, I don't know.
They're good.
We'll have to see how long we can borrow these for, because what we could really do is a camping trip away when it's like properly throwing it down and kind of blowing a gale and everything else, when you probably wouldn't put them out, but we'll put them out and have a go.
Yeah.
And just see what they're really like in a bit more inclement weather than this.
Yeah. But even just for the sunshade and the privacy thing, they work perfectly, and they don't rustle quite as bad.
Yeah.
So if the rustling worries you, then...
Yeah. We'll give you a bit of a tour inside so you can see what it's like just with these couple on. Obviously, if you put the front one on as well, then you're going to be crawling through
You've essentially created a room.
Created a room that you can't really get in and out of, because there's no door or anything like that to
so it's probably unlikely that you'd actually use all three.
Or you might have this one on with the king poles again, because you could have it straight out. So if you're just after a bit of sunshade with a bigger table or anything like that, you could do. Obviously, you've got to have a pitch big enough for that. And in our last video around the cost of living stuff, I think people are downsizing the size of pitch that they're going on these days. But right, let's do a bit of a tour inside before we take these down. And then the final bit of the video, we want to see whether these are going to fit in the tailgate in the same space where we've got the Outwell ones, because it's kind of like a secret hidden compartment in the California, which we love to use just to
where will we keep them if they don't?
And where would we keep them if we didn't? So, right, let's do a bit of a tour, and then let's put them away and have a look in the tailgate.
Hope it doesn't start raining again.
Yeah, and we'll do it quickly. Okay, well, we're going to have a quick look then, and apologies if this gets a bit shaky. I'm just doing it by hand.
Welcome to the untidy area with pegs.
Yeah, so...
Should have done some tidying up before the tour, really, shouldn't we?
We should really. So, yeah, it creates a nice space in here. Obviously, the camera's adjusting because we've just come inside now, but actually, as almost like a little haven that you can create, and do it quite quickly, actually. I know we're making a right meal of it, putting these up, I think, but you can probably see that by the time you've literally just zipped that one on across the top there, slid that one into the rail, you've got a few bungees to put pegs in at the bottom. That's it, you're done. And it really is...
It's that quick, isn't it?
Quick and easy.
Yeah. So it obviously makes it darker in here than ordinarily it would be if you didn't have anything. These are not see-through panels.
But I tell you what, they're a lot more dark than the Outwell ones.
They're a lot darker than the Outwell ones. The Outwell ones, it's kind of a beigey grey colour up here.
Put your hand behind that.
It's beigey grey, and then it goes into a green kind of down here. So in some ways kind of nicer in terms of camouflage, if it's camouflage you're going for. If you're going for matching a van or your actual awning, then the grey.
Yeah, so if you're pressed up against it...
That's me pressing my hand on it.
Yeah. But
with my hand there, you're literally just sort of seeing a shadow. So in terms of the privacy aspect of it,
not bad at all.
Not bad, yeah.
Okay. So let's have a look then. What have we got?
That's the panel set.
So that's the panel set. Dead easy with that one. No issues whatsoever.
The slightly more chunky one with the big Cador strip in it.
Will it fit?
Yeah.
Good so far, but will it shut?
I think if you can do up the zippy bit.
And there we go.
Good.
So the answer is, sorry, camera's a bit high. The answer is yes, it will fit in the tailgate. Probably not quite as easily as the Outwells because they are very, very thin. But those are 300 denier fabric, you know, they're quite heavy duty. So yeah, good thumbs up for that. So we probably need to talk about the painful bit now, which is how much do these actually cost? So if we start with the Outwells are $112.99 for the two, so the set, and then the single one, which goes out the other side, is $119.99. The Comfortz ones, so these are Comfortz Sun Shadz, and they come in 2 packs, as you've seen here. So the ones which are the front and back, they're $149.99, and the one which goes out, so the front side, the single one that we put in the strip, that's $119.99. So there is a little bit of a price difference between the two. One thing you've got to remember with the Comfortz ones is they're made in the UK, and they shouldn't have any supply problems with them, so you can actually get them. I know when we first bought the Outwell ones, we posted up the video last year. Everyone liked the look of them, and guess what? They just sold out everywhere. And that, I'm not taking the credit, or we're not taking the credit for them selling out, because we found it really difficult to get them as well. But it's like they make a batch every year, and when it's sold, it's sold. Whereas at least with the Comfortz ones, made in the UK, hopefully there shouldn't be too many supply problems.
And you're supporting local business.
And supporting local business. Depends whether that means anything to you or not. But actually, as a quality product, I think they're really good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're really good. And I really want to test them. We really want to test them
for real.
For real in a proper camping setting.
On a kind of car park, which we're at the moment. So, some people may recognise where we are. And,
if you do,
post it below.
Yeah.
We have done a video here before.
There's probably a sign which has been in the video.
Quite possibly. I can see one over there, so it does depend whether you can spot the sign that's kind of like right back there.
So let us know what you think to these new awning sides. Would you go for these ones over the Would you go for these ones over the Outwell ones? Have you got the Outwell ones? Do you love them? Do you never use them? Let us know in the comments below what you think. Hope you've enjoyed the review. We'll see you again soon for some more
California time.